Section 2, subsection 16 of IGST, which refers non-taxable online recipient. Definition with regard to section 2 subsection 16, non-taxable online recipient. Non-taxable online recipient. Any government, local authority, governmental authority, an individual or any other person not registered and receiving online information database access retrieval services in relation to any purpose other than commerce, industry, or any other business or profession located in taxable territory, non-taxable online recipient means a government or local authority or governmental authority or an individual or any other person not registered and receiving online information database access retrieval services OIDR nature services in relation to any purpose other than commerce industry means other than the business or profession. The recipient is located in taxable territory. We called him as non-taxable online recipient. Dear friends, this point again I will highlight in a simple manner by presenting what impact it is non-taxable online recipient. Sony company, London based company is uploaded various types of songs were uploaded in a particular cloud. Now in India, a particular individual who is basically unregistered person, his hobby of listening music songs. This fellow approached to a particular system software. I can say that it is using his credentials, maybe what we can call the login ID and or password in the laptop. In the system software, this individual paid rupees, let us say 20,000, paid rupees 20,000, and the system software permitted to download songs, then it is permitted to download. Who permitted? System software permitted to download. No individual involved, and the system software which is permitted to download these songs after they receive the payment. System software itself issuing the invoice, not required to involve a particular Sony company staff to do this process. System software will itself taking care. Payment received, recognized the person who paid the amount, to whom permission granted for downloading that particular songs, followed by raising the invoice and sending to the mail ID automatically to the individual who is basically unregistered person under the GST. What for he imported? For the personal purposes. Therefore, this import is for personal purposes, namely personal purposes imported this particular songs, his hobby to listen the songs. other than the business or commerce. Such a service is imported by unregistered individual. We called such person as non-taxable online recipient. We called him non-taxable recipient. Such a non-taxable online recipient import these services by paying this OIDR nature supply. This is called OIDR, online information, OIDAR, online information in database access and retrieval services. In that case, who is liable to pay GST here? Is a taxable supply or exempted supply? A point comes in here. It is for consideration. It is for consideration. OIDR service absolutely taxable because consideration. If there is no consideration, no GST. There is a consideration and it attacks the GST. Who liable to pay GST? Import of services. Generally, the recipient liable to pay GST. But in the given case, recipient not liable to pay GST because the recipient imported online information database access retrieval services for the purpose other than the business or commerce. In such case, the liability to pay GST is on supplier of OIDAR services. That means Sony London being a supplier liable to pay GST. If the supplier liable to pay GST, supplier says, I am in London, I am not having the place of business in India. Then the government said, hey, Sony London, you should have to have a place of business in India to pay the GST. No, sir, I am not interested to have any place of business in India. Then the government says, in such case, no problem. At least you have to have a representative in India to pay the GST. I am not interested to have representative in India. Then we are not interesting you to do business in our India. That means it is very crystal clear that supplier only liable to pay GST in the given circumstances. Being a supplier, OIDR supplier of services, Sony London liable to pay GST at least by having a representative in India to pay the GST.